So today I'm going to be reviewing Hellraiser, which recently debuted on Hulu. This film is directed by David Bruckner, who is one of the directors of VHS, as well as 2020's The Night House. While the film uses the same source material as 1987's Hellraiser, that is Clive Barker's novel The Hellbound Heart, this one does deviate from that film with a different set of characters and plotline. Now, going into this movie, I will admit, despite being a horror fan, I had not seen the 1987 version of Hellraiser, so I did go ahead and watch it in anticipation of watching the reboot. The original version is available on Prime Video if anyone is interested in checking it out right now. And I will say that original film was definitely an experience. It was sick, it was shocking, it was very gory, it made me regret eating directly before I started pressing play. But I did appreciate its mixture of these kind of gross out thrills with a compelling mythology that is led by these mysterious characters from hell known as the Cenobites, particularly their primary leader that was known as Pinhead. Now, this new version of Hellraiser does reboot a lot of things from the mythology. It does have the Cenobites, they are back, which it does always make me kind of laugh a little bit when I hear Cenobites, because it makes me think of when I worked at Cinnabon as a teenager and we had little cinnamon rolls they called Cenobites. But anyway, it reintroduces the puzzle box that we had from the original film, and while it does bring in a lot of gore, it does seem to be a little less shocking and gratuitous than the original, so it does create a different experience watching this movie. And that is one thing that I did observe comparing the two. I had a very different feeling and a very different experience watching these two side by side. And while I do think the 2022 version of Hellraiser is sure to bring in fans that are new to the franchise, it does make me wonder if some of the die-hard fans of the original are going to be isolated from some of the changes that were made. Now, 2022's Hellraiser starts out in a billionaire's mansion. We're introduced to a character known as Roland Voight, who is this hedonistic billionaire who is after power and money and pleasure. We do discover that he is using the puzzle box, which has a total of 6 different variations, and with each variation a blade cuts out from it, and whoever's blood is sliced on the blade summons the Cenobites, including Pinhead or the Hell Priest, who come and kill that person basically and torture them, and it takes them on to the next stage of the puzzle box, and when they get to the final one, they have a gift that is offered. So then we fast forward 6 years. The rest of the film focuses on this group of 20-somethings who live together in an apartment. There is Riley, who is the main character. She's a recovering drug addict. I think the actress who played her did a phenomenal job, and she did really carry the movie for me in a lot of different ways, in my opinion. She lives together with her brother and his boyfriend and their roommate, Nora. Now, Riley is a character that is multi-layered, that has some issues going on, and you can see where she has created a lot of complication and frustration and even hurt with the people around her. When she's living in the apartment, she is having these conflicts with her brother, and you're really not sure if you want to cheer for her or her brother Matt, because there are these two sides to this conflict going on. Now, Riley is behind on her rent, so what she does is she gets together with her boyfriend that she met in rehab, Trevor, and they decide to go and break into this warehouse where they believe that there's going to be goods that they can steal and try to pawn. When they get into the warehouse, there's a shipping container that only has one item in a safe, and that item ends up being the puzzle box. When Riley finds the box, it has been reset to its first stage, and every time she tinkers with it and, tries to solve the puzzle, a blade cuts out, and whoever it slices is then the target of the Cenobites. She and her roommates end up going on this journey that takes them to Voight's mansion, where they end up confronting the Cenobites in a pretty epic conclusion. Now, there are a lot of things I think worked really well with this film. I think the actress, again, who played Riley did phenomenal. I think Jamie Clayton, who played the Hell Priest, she did phenomenal as well. She was ultimately playing this iconic character that people are going to judge against the original, and I think she very much made the character her own. This movie focused in a lot more on the mythology of the puzzle box and the Cenobites, I thought, more so than the original. It gives you these little hints and kind of a breadcrumb trail that can lead to potential sequels, and I think that's a good thing as a franchise starter because it gives you just enough to be intrigued. Now, when it comes to some of the members of the supporting cast, they didn't all really do it for me. But I will say it is a horror franchise. Let's get real. Not all of them are going to make it to the sequels. When it comes to the gore in this film, it is kind of a slow burn. It does take a while before you see some of the more violent stuff towards the end of the film. And while this does have an unquestionably gory, violent theme going on with it, it does again lack that shock factor from the original. The original film was this experience for me where I'm watching something that is so horrific that I want to look away, but I just can't. It was sort of this scary, shocking thrill ride. The new film has the experience of having memorable characters and interesting mythology, but ultimately it's more sinister than scary. I do think that this film is going to bring in a lot of new people to the franchise, and I am interested to see where it can go in the future for sequels. Since we're in the Halloween season, it does make for a compelling watch. If you are into horror films and you don't mind something that's a little bit gory, again, it's not for everyone, but I do question if for some of the fans of that original film, if it is going to leave them wanting more. So, have you watched Hellraiser? Did you agree with me? Disagree? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to this YouTube channel to stay up to date with all things streaming. I want to thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you all have a good one. Bye-bye.